Hey guys, I'm back for another video. This is my 33rd video on this channel, so I'm super happy. I'm remaining consistent. I'm posting once a week at least for long format videos, and perhaps thrice or 4 times a week for shorts. So I'm pretty happy about that. In this video, what we'll cover is what are the top 5 key technologies you need to study in order to become an effective software developer. So we won't waste any time, so let's start. The first thing you need to learn if you want to become a web developer is HTML and CSS. HTML is the technology used to put all the building blocks of a web application or a web page. So when you see a button, an image, a piece of text, a paragraph, whatever, that has HTML behind. And CSS is the technology that is used to give styles to those elements. So you say, well, I'm going to put a block on this page, and then you use CSS to modify the color of whatever it is that you put on the page. Or I'm going to put this text, and you use CSS to modify the font size or the font color or whatever. So first you need to learn that. After you learn that, you also need to learn JavaScript. JavaScript is the most popular language used in web development, and it's used to give functionality to web pages. So if all web pages were static, where you just put things like blocks of things into a web page and they don't do anything, it's not going to be a lot of fun. It's just going to be like internet would be like Wikipedia. But the experience we have every day with internet is that things interact with each other. So in order to give that interaction, you need to use JavaScript, and that's why you need to learn it. The third thing you need to learn is, well, how do you manage all this code? Like, okay, I've got HTML and CSS, I can put blocks on a web page, I can edit those blocks, and then I can use JavaScript to modify the interaction so that if I click a button, something happens. But now that you have all of these different files, there's going to be an HTML file for the blocks, there's going to be a CSS to modify those blocks, there's going to be a JavaScript file to give functionality to those blocks. Once you have all of those technologies, like how do you manage all the files? You're going to get lots of HTML, CSS, and JavaScript files, like just as if you would get, I don't know, a doc file for Word. You're going to get lots of files that will constitute the web page. And the question is, well, how do you manage all these files? And luckily, the software engineering community has invented a technology that is called Git. And this technology allows you to manage the different files that constitute your web application. And you need to learn this technology because any modern application is made of several dozens or hundreds or even thousands of files. And in order to manage all these files, most engineers use Git. So that is the third technology you need to learn. And coming up next, the fourth thing you should learn, this is a more controversial thing because like the basic building blocks, everybody agrees on them. I think the fourth thing you should learn is probably SQL or Mongo, or NoSQL, like a database system so that you can persist data. When you interact with a web page currently, what happens is that you tend to give information to that web page. The web page does something with it and output something that is valuable to you. Say like you post a tweet and Twitter spreads that tweet over hundreds of thousands of people, and then it gives back information to you. In order to do that, whatever it is that you input into a computer system needs to be stored somewhere. And things in most applications are stored in databases. I mean, you can store information in a text file, but that is not sustainable long term. You need to store, in many cases, hundreds of thousands of data points, and the most efficient way to do that is to store it in a database. So the fourth thing you should learn if you're trying to become a developer is, okay, some database system, it could be a SQL system, a NoSQL system, but you should learn one of those systems. And finally, the fifth thing you should learn is, in my opinion, React. So React is the standard used to make web pages around the world today. It's a framework developed by Meta or Facebook to help speed up the web development process. So the way to conceptualize it is, let's say like, okay, HTML is one small building block and you want to build a huge wall. If you have HTML blocks, something went wrong there. If you have HTML blocks, it's going to take lots of little blocks to build a huge wall. But if you have larger bricks, larger blocks, it's going to take a lower amount of blocks, and you're going to have to stack less of them together. So there's more functionality crammed into each block of code. And that's kind of like what React gives you. It comes with lots of features, and it makes developing web pages and web applications and applications of all sorts, because you can then use React to build mobile apps, like the native apps you find in your iPhone. It makes developing way easier. So that's the fifth technology I would advise you to learn.